यदि माम् अप्रतीकारम् अशस्त्रं शास्त्रपाणयः दातराशरणे हन्योस्तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्। सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्त्वार्जुन सङ्ख्ये रतोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, the morning session of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. I welcome you, all of you, to this session. So, before moving on to the session, I would like to know who are all on the call today.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, thank you for beautiful recitation and thank you so much for coming on the call and greeting everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amrita Gandharva Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving us your valuable association. And you also started your husky voice, Mataji. Maybe you're at work.
I am at work, Mataji, in the classroom.
Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Srila Prabhupada. This is Preetiya Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Mataji, for your warm welcoming and also the beautiful chanting of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving us your valuable time and association. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Me too, but I'm leaving.
Neetu Mataji, please mute. Yes, thank you. Anyone else who would like to introduce? Hare Krishna. Anyone else who would like to introduce? Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We'll chant for 2 minutes then. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sorry, 1 minute. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anyone would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, so glory to Srila Prabhupada, Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi. Thank you so much, Anita Mataji, for all your services.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving us a valuable time and association. Welcome to the call, Mataji, and we are waiting for your class, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sundarangi Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Anita Ramya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your wonderful services. This is Sundarangi Radha Devi Dasi from Canada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sundarangi Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call, and thank you so much for all your services. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today we will be moving on to our next session, that is Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. But before moving on to the session, I would like to read Prabhupada's quote for today. It is for 20th February. Prabhupada has written a letter to Raya Rama on 1969. An old father required massaging so all the children wanted to serve the father. The father divided the right and left portion of his body to be served by the children. Later, along with the service, there was some quarrel between the children, and they were competing by hitting the parts of the father that was assigned to the opposing party. The father said that you are hitting my different parts due to your opposition to one another, but I am therefore dying. If there is any misunderstanding, please live peacefully. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna devotees, I once again welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So the next session is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata, and the class will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji, and the verses will be from Madhya Kanta, chapter 21, 65 to 80. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your time and association. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Anita Mataji, for your warm welcome. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining.
Mataji, I would like to say one more thing also. You look so beautiful, Mataji, with this yellow dress. Bodily beauty. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so thank you so much, dear devotees, for all of your wonderful association. So we'll start with our prayers and then we'll go ahead with our Chaitanya Bhagavat session. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaye Tadbhaktaye Namo Namaha Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hema Bhadevya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Ajanulambita Kanakavadhatau Sankirtanekapitaro Kamalayatakshaw Vishwambharau Dvijavarau Yugadharmapalau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirti Stasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhritya Stasya Vishveshwamurte Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Mukam Karoti Vachalum Pangum Langaite Girim Yatkripahatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for your very, very kind association. And I really seek all your blessings, prayers, so that I can speak something relevant to the subject matter. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So we are in the section of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat written by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, where a new episode has been started of
Devananda Pandit. So I'll just give a quick recap of what all we covered in this chapter, and Krishna willing, today we will end this chapter today. So it started with how Mahaprabhu, he was wandering in Navadvip one day, and then he came near the house of Maheshwara Visharad. He is the father of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And at that time, Devananda Pandit, who was there, he was residing in that area. And we know that how through this chapter, we have already covered that Devananda Pandit was he was a lifelong brahmachari, and he was very desirous of liberation, and therefore he used to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was very renowned teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. But in spite of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam day in, day out, he was devoid of devotional service. And this was because of this was the greatest misfortune, that in spite of reading that Bhakti Shastra, he was devoid of bhakti. But once Mahaprabhu, he was wandering about Navdvip and he came near the tavern. So tavern in Hindi, we say is Madhushala, a place where you get all these intoxicated drinks, or in today's language, you can say a bar or a pub. So there he smelled the odor of wine. And as soon as that odor reaches Mahaprabhu's nostrils, his mood of Balaram awakened, because he then started desiring to enter into that tavern, but definitely it was not a behavior, and therefore Srivas Pandit, who was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, didn't approve him, rather restrained him in going in that tavern. So because as soon as Mahaprabhu smelled that, it remembered him of Varuni. Therefore he came in the mood of Baladev. Anyways, so Shivas Pandit, he restrained him from entering this tavern, and Gaurasundar then finally agreed to the advice of Shivas Thakur, and finally he went on to the road chanting the names of Hari. And he was chanting like a madman. And there he saw that there were two drunkards who were following him from that tavern, and they also started chanting the names of Hari. And very mercifully, Mahaprabhu, he glanced at those drunkards, and he basically delivered them just by his glance. Darshana pavitra karo ai tumhara gun. So just with his glance, he delivered those two drunkards. Further, it's been explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur that Mahaprabhu, he saw Devananda Pandit. And as soon as Mahaprabhu saw Devananda Pandit, Mahaprabhu went in flashback. So even with Mahaprabhu, our Vrindavan Das Thakur also went in flashback. That how one day Shivas Pandit, Mahaprabhu was remembering this. Just by seeing Devananda Pandit, Mahaprabhu remembered this, that how one day Shivas Pandit, he got this desire to hear Bhagavatam, the explanation of Bhagavatam from Devananda Pandit. And he entered into that assembly where Devananda Pandit was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. As soon as Srivas Pandit heard the glories and the discussions or the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, his heart got melted, and he realized that every syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam is full of ecstatic love, and because of which he got all the Ashtasatvika Vikar. He got all the ecstatic feelings like shedding tears and shivering and hair standing on end. And on seeing these symptoms, which are actually the symptoms of transcendental love, but all the others who were present in that assembly, they thought that Shivas is unnecessary displaying these moods. And they were thinking that such display is causing a disturbance in their studies. So the students of Devananda Pandit who were there in that assembly, what they did, they threw Srivas out of that assembly. Now, this offense was committed by the students. But actually, Devananda Pandit was also involved. Why? Because he, being the teacher, didn't restrain his students from that action. So Mahaprabhu says that actually Devananda Pandit was the one who committed this Vaishnava aparad. So I will share my screen. So this was just a quick overview of this entire chapter, what we covered. So this is our Caitanya Bhagavat. So we are supposed to start with text 65. So see, Shiva's crying could be checked. Although Shivas was most dear to Lord Chaitanya and he purified the entire world, the sinful students conspired together and they dragged him outside. They threw him outside. And then Mahaprabhu is again, he is in flashback only for maybe 2 more verses, and then he'll come back and then we'll see what he did to Devananda Pandit. So still Mahaprabhu is in that flashback. So Mahaprabhu then says, he's thinking, Devananda Panditana Kaila Neva Arana Guru Yatha Bhakti Shunya Tatha Shishya Gana. So Mahaprabhu is thinking that Devananda Pandit is the one who didn't stop them. Okay, if students are doing something wrong, it's the duty of a teacher to correct the student. So Devananda Pandit is actually the main culprit. He didn't stop them. Guru yatha bhakti shuna tatha shishya gana. So Mahaprabhu is saying, as the Guru was devoid of devotional service, so were his students. Because students are going to follow the achar and vichar of a Guru. And if Guru is such, if Guru is such that who is not stopping the students and is committing a Vaishnava pran, then what fault lies in the students? So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he writes in his purport, if Devananda Pandit had even a little inclination towards the service of the Supreme Lord, he would have certainly stopped his foolish students from taking part in such a non-devotional act. Therefore, both Devananda Pandit and students were engaged in material enjoyment and cultivation of false logic. So Shiva's Pandit did not get the opportunity to relish the actual meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So finally, he returned home in distress because anyway, he was thrown out. Because Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev is the super soul in the heart of everybody as Paramatma, he knew that this offense was actually committed by Devananda Pandit. Guru Jatha Bhakti Shuna Tatha Shishya Gana. If the Guru is Bhakti Shunya, his Bhakti is Shunya, his Bhakti is zero, his Bhakti is null, then what will you expect from the students? Even the students will behave like such. So we all know that how, as a teacher, the Guru is supposed to instruct his students and instruct the students in the scripture and, of course, in the teaching of how to behave with other devotees. But if the Guru is not an absolute autocrat, the Guru is not an absolute autocrat who can act according to his own whims, his own mental speculation, and the disciples should blindly follow. That is not the case. The Guru is actually held up responsible and accountable so that the students should follow his footsteps and should understand the Supreme Lord, the scripture, and the Guru should understand his own disciples also. But in this case, Devananda Pandit Bhakti was Shunya. So Prabhupada very beautifully mentions that he mentions in Nectar of Instruction, if in verse 5, that anyone can become a guru. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Updesh, that whomsoever you see, whomsoever you meet, you should give Krishna's guidance or Krishna's Updesh to everyone, to chant Krishna's name, to worship Krishna, and everybody can become a guru. But the real guru is one who is a very good disciple. So one who is a good follower becomes a good leader. Anyone who repeats the message as it is, without adding or without subtracting anything, then yes, that person can become a real guru. So Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction that anyone can become guru, even a neophyte, even a madhyamadikari, even an uttamadikari. They can become guru, they can accept disciples. But then he goes on saying that if anybody accepts a spiritual master who is Kanishta or who is Madhyama, then they will not be able to advance well towards the ultimate goal of life. Why? Because they are always under the guidance of that spiritual master who himself doesn't have the proper knowledge or has insufficient knowledge. So, is it okay to accept? Yes, Prabhupada says that yes, even a Kanishta and Madhyama can become a spiritual master, but it's the disciple who suffers because the disciple will not get anything beyond the knowledge that the Guru has. So, therefore, moving on to his purport, Prabhupada says that the disciples of that Guru, who is not an Uttamadikari, they remain on the same platform. But in the end, Prabhupada, he ends his purport. He says that therefore the recommendation is that one should accept only an Uttamadikari as one's spiritual master. Because the spiritual masters, because the disciple cannot go beyond the knowledge of spiritual master. So if the spiritual master has insufficient knowledge, the disciple will also be on the very same platform. So here also our Vrindavan Das Thakur, our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is commenting, and Mahaprabhu himself is saying, Guru Jatha Bhakti Shunya Tatha Shishya Gana. If the bhakti of Guru is Shunya, is zero, what more can you accept from a disciple? So, therefore, we should be very, very particular when it comes choosing a spiritual master, because it's a once in birth after birth, lifetime after lifetime. It's a commitment between a disciple and a spiritual master. So Prabhupada says that yes, anybody can become a guru, but a disciple should be such, the recommendation is such that you should try to accept only an Uttamadikari as your spiritual master. So moving on to 66, then again it's a flashback only. Bahya pai dukhate shiva sa gela ghara taha sabha jane antaryami Vishwambhara. Our Vishwambhara, our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is antaryami. He is situated as Paramatma in the heart of everybody. He knew the entire incident. And he knew that after regaining his external consciousness, Srivas Thakur, Dukkhite, he went home back in distress. He was very distressed because he was thrown out from that assembly. Now Mahaprabhu is coming back to his external consciousness. And as soon as he saw Devananda, so this was just a flashback, because whenever we see a person, we sometimes remember certain incidents, right? So same happened with Mahaprabhu. As soon as he saw Devananda Pandit, he remembered this incident, what happened with Srivas Thakur. So now Mahaprabhu, what he is doing? Devananda darshane haila smarana Krodha mukhe bole Prabhu sachiranandana. Now as soon as Mahaprabhu remembered this, Krodha mukhe, with anger, Mahaprabhu, who is Sachiranandan, who is the son of Mother Shachi, he started speaking to Devananda Pandit. Now what he is speaking? आए देवानंदा बलिए तुम्हारे तुम्हें एवा भागवता पढ़ाओ सबारे. Alas, alas, you are the same Devananda. You are the one who is teaching this Srimad Bhagavatam to everybody. So it was just a sarcastic remark by Mahaprabhu, because Mahaprabhu knows that he himself doesn't know the purport, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's the one who is teaching Srimad Bhagavatam to others. So for teaching Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not necessary that one has to be scholarly in all the verses and all the grammar and everything. Teaching Bhagavatam requires the heart. the transformed heart, the heart of a devotee, the heart that has transformed into the love for Lord Shri Krishna. So now he's saying, I, Devananda. You are that Devananda who is teaching Srimad Bhagavatam to everybody. এই শ্রীবাসে দেখিতে গঙ্গা রামন রাথা হেনা জানা গেলা শুনিবারে ভাগবতা. That Srivas who just by seeing Srivas, even the Ganga who is descending from the lotus feet of Sri Krishna actually desires to see such a devotee. Srivas, that Srivas had just one desire, to hear Bhagavat from you. कोना अपराधे ताने शिष्य हाथ इया बड़ी रे बाहिरे लाया एड़ी लातीन तानिया. कौन अपराधे? What fault was there in Shivas that all your Shishya Ganas, all your disciples have thrown him out, condemning him, insulting him? They have thrown him out of that assembly. What fault was there in Shivas? भागवत सुनीते ये कंदे कृष्ण रसे तानिया फैलीते ताहारे योग्य आईशे. How it is proper to throw out someone who was crying after getting absorbed in the mellows and the rasas of Srimad Bhagavatam. What fault was there in the heart of Srimad Bhagavatam? He was simply relishing your katha, and out of that relishment, he was having those vikaras, he was crying in separation. And what fault was this? How come it is wrong that somebody cry for Krishna after Srimad Bhagavatam? What wrong is there? That's all these questions Mahaprabhu is asking. So as soon as the son of Shachi saw Devananda, he immediately remembered this incident, and in an angry mood he said, "Oh Devananda, let me tell you something. You are now teaching Srimad Bhagavatam to everyone. Shivas, from whom the Ganges desired to see once, he went to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from you. For what offense of this, did you and your students throw him out of your house? It is proper to throw out someone who, after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, is crying in love for Krishna. Is it okay for you on your part or on the part of your disciples that to throw him out? What offense he has committed?" So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur writes, as soon as Gaurasundar saw Devananda, he immediately remembered the harassment of his devotee, and he said, by hearing the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, one's heart melts. That is the essence. So only people who are engaged in enjoying the external world are able to maintain hard hearts. When the sentiments of Shivas were at the climax, you and your students deprived him from the act of Srimad Bhagavatam because you did not understand him. Even Ganga Devi, who is carried on the head of Shava, descends to this world in the form of a river to see a devotee like Srivas. Therefore, the offense you committed by having your students forcibly throw Shivas out has made you completely averse to the Lord. Why did you and your students consider the behavior of Shivas, the ideal devotee, as fit for condemnation? So he is asking this question. What fault was there in the heart of Shivas Thakur that your disciples, your students, they threw him out and they insulted him badly? So we know that how Ganga Devi, so how she descends on the call of Bhagirath. So Bhagirath was asked to deliver his forefathers, and therefore he meditated, he performed austerities, and he pleased Mother Ganga to agree to come down on earth. But then when Mother Ganga agreed, she put two conditions. She said, first of all, the force by which I'll be coming, it will be very great. I will inundate the entire earth, because the force with which I will come, it will be very difficult that I come in a smooth manner. So I need some male who will be able to control my waves. Who will be that person? And Bhagirath said, don't worry. the Lord Shiva actually agreed, and he will be able to completely control the waves of your water. And then the next condition she said, okay, so you said you are coming here to deliver your forefathers. So that means when I'll descend down, all these people, these sinful men will come to me and will bathe in my waters, and they would be freed of sinful reactions. But how will I keep up to those sinful reactions? How will I myself become purified? And then Bhagirath said that don't worry. When the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord did themselves will bathe in your water, the sinful reactions which are left by the sinful men, that will be counteracted. So don't worry. Everything be counteracted. Your water will remain always pure. So on these two conditions, Mother Ganga, she finally decided to descend. So that's what happened when somebody goes and take a dip in Ganga. So as you all know, this entire thing is happening. That is, what do you say, is Mahakumbh Mela that has come after 144 years. So normally it comes after 12, and we have Ardha Kumbh Mela that comes after 6 years. But this time it's coming after 144 years, and it has been said that because the same nakshatras are there, which were present when the churning of milk ocean happened. But the point is this Triveni Sangam, this confluence of the three rivers, that is Yamuna, Ganga and Saraswati, is there. And we know that right now in Kumbh Mela, there is practically the supermarket of all the spiritual organizations. But there is a very beautiful Vraj Katha. When I was in this Yatra Parikrama, we happened to stay near Pavan Sarovar. So this Pavan Sarovar is in Nandgaon, and at that time His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj came to give this katha, and he narrated this katha, that what happened, that one day during this time, Nanda Maharaj, he got this desire to go to Prayagraj. Today is Allahabad. He wants to go to Prayagraj, where this confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati happened. So our Krishna, he was unwilling to get separated from his parents. So Krishna has advised his father that you can go next day. Next day is the auspicious occasion, the Tithi of Akshaya Tritiya. So why you want to go today? You can wait for one more day and then you can leave tomorrow. So Nanda Maharaj somehow agreed to the advice of his son Krishna. And next day, Nanda Maharaj, he woke up early. He went to this Pavan Sarovar, because this is the Sarovar where Krishna used to take bath, and he used to take all his cows and calves. And Pavan itself means purifying. So already all the sins are relieved when somebody takes bath in this Pavan Sarovar. So Nanda Maharaj, he woke up early. He went to Pavan Sarovar to have his morning bath before he can leave for Prayagraj. And at that time, he saw a very black complexion person, and he was a huge personality. And he inquired. So he came, and Nand Maharaj was thinking, who is that person? So Nand Maharaj asked him about his identity. And then very humbly, he folded his hands and he told Nand Maharaj that he is the king of Tirthas. He is Prayagraj himself, who has come to wash all the sins that are there in his sacred Triveni Sangam. So he has come to counteract all those sins so that he can take bath in the Pavan Sarovar, and he can counteract all the sins that have been left by the pilgrims. So he came along with all other rivers and tirthas, and Nand Maharaj was amazed to see that how even the king of tirthas, who washes the sins of all the pilgrims, has to come to Pavan Sarovar to wash his own sins left over by the pilgrims. So what is the need of me going to Prayagraj? So even Nand Maharaj, then finally he dropped his idea, and then he bathed in the holy waters of Pavan Sarovar, and finally he purified himself. So it's a very beautiful place, and on the northern side of that Pavan Sarovar, there is a very beautiful temple of Shri Radha Pavana Bihari. So it's just, I thought that how even Krishna, even Prabhupada himself is saying that even Ganga Devi, who is carried on the head of Shiva, descends to this world in the form of river to see a devotee like Srivas. So therefore, the offense that was committed by the students and by Devananda Pandit was, because of that, Devananda Pandit further he became averse to the Lord because he got puffed up and all those anarthas peeped in. So finally, let's move to text 72. भुजिलामा तुम्ही से पढ़ाओ भागवता खोना जन्मे न जाना ग्रंथ अभिमता भुजिलामा तुम्ही से पढ़ाओ भागवतम. I know that you even teach, that you, even though you teach Srimad Bhagavatam, kona janme, but for life after life, na jana, you have never understood, never realized grantha abhimata, the abhimat, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, you have not realized in your many lifetimes. Kona janme, you have never realized. So although Devananda Pandit was a teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam, birth after birth he had never had a good fortune to understand the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we know what is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam essence is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Etejam sakalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. And the ultimate goal of is pure bhakti. Savaipamsa parodharma yado bhaktiradokshajay ahitukiya pratiyata yayatma suprasidati. That is the ultimate goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is to perform bhakti, loving devotional service to Krishna. So if somebody is reciting or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, actually the essence is that it becomes a call. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is a call for all of us, for all the living beings, is to awaken our loving relationship with that Supreme Personality of Godhead, for divine couple. How? By hearing, by chanting, by remembering Krishna's glories. So we also have to understand, when we open Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to understand that this is not just a book, it is Krishna himself. Vrindavan Das Thakur himself will say in future verses that there is no difference between Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we open Srimad Bhagavatam, we should hear, read, study with rapt attention, not like a newspaper reading. But we should hear the purports, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and should try to imbibe it in our life. Just like how our Shad Goswamis, see, hearing, chanting, remembering the Supreme Lord, yes, it comes under Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, but actually it is important because this becomes the doorway to enter into Raganuga Bhakti. Our Shad Goswami, they used to do it, and they used to do it very diligently and with rapt attention. Our Srinivas Acharya, he writes, Sankhya Purvak Naam Gana Natabhi Kalavasani Kritau. All these Shad Goswamis would pass their time by chanting, by dancing, by doing Sankirtan. But how? Sankhya Purvak. Now, when there is a Sankhya, when there is a number added, that means they used to do it with Vaidhi Bhakti. Sankhya Purvak they used to do. Radha Krishna Gurunir Smritir Madhurami Sammitav. Madhurima Nandena Sammohitav. They would immerse themselves into the Madhur Leelas of Radha and Krishna. They will do this Smaran. But how? Sankhya Purvak. So it is very important that we also should follow in the line, in the footsteps of our acharyas. And then after that, when this spontaneous love arises, then they would call out everywhere. Whether they'll go to Govardhan, whether they'll go to Nandgaon, whether they go to any pastures, they will call out, हे राधे द्रज देव की चललिते, हे नंद सुनो कुथा, श्री गोवर्धन कल्प पाद पतले, कालिंदी वने कुता, घोषान्ताविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे, खेदेर्महाविह्वलौ, वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ, श्रीजीव गोपालकौ. All these six Goswamis would call out, Hey Radhe, O Queen of Vrindavan, where are you? O Lalite, O son of Nand Maharaj, Nand Suno, where are you? Are you somewhere sitting beneath some Kalpavriksha trees? Or you are near Govardhan Hill? Or you are roaming in the pasture grounds in the forest along the soft banks of river Kalindi? In this way they will lament. In this way they will do their Vipralamba Seva in separation of Krishna. And they will burn themselves in the feeling of this great separation as they wandered in Vrajamandal. So that's how they used to perform their devotional service in separation, which is being given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is actually the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should also follow in their footstep. We should not simply waste our time in watching all these YouTube reels or making our household things, earning money and thinking how I can be materially happy. Well, all these things can also be experienced by other species of life. Even the other animals, they also do this eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Then what different are we doing getting this human form of life? So it is very important that especially after getting this human form of life, we should try to do our bhajan. We have to try to understand the crux of our purpose of our existence. And then we should follow this only in the footsteps of our acharyas. So that's what Mahaprabhu is also saying, Oh Devananda Pandit, you have not understood the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is not to become a preacher or to become a teacher or to get some name, fame, recognition. That is not the purpose of Bhagavatam. But you are striving for that only. You are trying to get all that. But the real purport of Srimad Bhagavatam is that our heart should melt. That hard-hearted melt should melt for the getting just one glance of divine couple. But you have never understood. In your lifetime, you have never understood. परिपूर्ण करिया ए सब जने खाया तबे बाहिर देशे गिया से संतोष पाया. Very beautifully now Mahaprabhu is saying, see, paripurna kariya e sabha jana khaya. The person who has eaten the meal, who has eaten the food with the full satisfaction, tabhi bahar deshe giya the santosh paya. Then when he goes out, he feels lot of satisfaction because he has eaten with full stomach. Preme maya bhagavata padiya tumi tatha shukla na paila. Kahilama Ami. I am telling you that even though you have been teaching the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of ecstatic love, Prema Maya, it gives Prema Maya, it gives Prema Bhakti to each and everyone. And you have been studying and teaching this Srimad Bhagavatam. Tata Sukha na paila, not Shukla, Tata Shukha na paya, but you have not achieved any happiness out of it. So this is the verse. Prabhupada Saraswati very beautifully explains that some persons explain this verse as follows. That from your recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, you have not achieved the insignificant satisfaction that one attains while wandering around with filling one's hunger-afflicted stomach. So what to speak of invoking relishment of love of God, which is the fruit of studying Srimad Bhagavatam? Your explanations are even unable to invoke mitigation of ordinary distress. So we know this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Pareshano Bevrittar Anyatra Chaisatrika Ekakala Prapadyamanasya Yathashnatah Suas Tushti Pushti Shud Apayo Nughasam. Where here it is being mentioned that how bhakti, when somebody eats, we have to understand if somebody eats something and that person is empty stomach. So as soon as he takes the first bite, first ghasam, means just with every morsel that person is eating, what he is experiencing? He is experiencing tushti. He is experiencing satisfaction. You bring a full plate, 8-course meal in front of a person who has not eaten for weeks, and you bring that plate in front of him. So with every morsel that he is eating, that every morsel is giving a satisfaction. It's bringing satisfaction, tushti. And it is bringing some pushti, some nourishment is happening to his body. And shud apaya, his hunger is getting eradicated. As soon as somebody eats that morsel after morsel, all these things happen. Similarly, bhakti is also the same. When somebody perform devotional service and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one gets this tushti, pushti and shut apaya in the form of devotion, direct experience and detachment. As soon as we start understanding the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, as soon as we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, immediately, first of all, what we get is detachment. Oh, I have been wasting my years in all these things. Let me now become serious. And slowly and gradually, one gets direct experience of the Supreme Lord. And then one dives into his deep devotion. So actually Jiva Goswami, he gives this analogy. He says bhakti or devotion is compared to tushti or the satisfaction. And here Mahaprabhu is saying that you have not achieved that satisfaction. Even the satisfaction of teaching Srimad Bhagavatam, that tushti also you have not, it has not happened to you. That satisfaction also not happened. What to talk about the nourishment? What to talk about the direct experience of the Lord, and finally the deep devotion? Forget about it. You have not even got a satisfaction. So here he is saying what to speak of invoking relishment of love of Godhead, which is the fruit of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Your explanations are unable to invoke even the mitigation of ordinary distress. That Kleshagni only has not happened, that Shubhada has not happened, then what to talk about Sandaratma Visheshatma and Sri Krishna Akarshani? That happens in the full prema. It won't. It's not happening. So you have to check, introspect that where you are lacking. That is what Mahaprabhu is telling to Devananda Pandit. So he chastised him very, very nicely, chastised Devananda Pandit. शुनिया वचन देवानंद द्विजवरा लज्जाय रहिला किछु न करे उतारा. As soon as Devananda Pandit heard these chastisement coming out from the lotus mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Devananda who is Dvijavara, who is the crest jewel of all the Brahmanas, when he heard the vachan from the lotus mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lajjaya Rahila. He got so much ashamed, Kichu na kare uttara, and he didn't reply. He just tolerated. क्रोधावेशे बलिया चलीला विश्वंभरा, दुखिता चलीला Devananda Nijagara. And in a very angry mood, chastising Devananda Pandit, Mahaprabhu left that place. And our Devananda Pandit also became so morose, and in that great shame and moroseness, he also went back to his home. तथापि या देवानंद बड़ा पुण्यवंता, वचने ओ प्रभु जरे करिले न दंडा. But our Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Devananda Pandit is actually punyavanta. He is the most fortunate. Why he is the most fortunate? Vachaneo Prabhu yare kharila danda. Because the vachan, the words that has come out from the lotus mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were actually to chastise him. They were the punishment, the words of punishment to Devananda. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur saying, Chaitanyera danda maha sukriti se paya, jare danda mari leve kuntha lokaya. Only a most fortunate person, maha sukriti, jiski maha sukriti ho, the person who is most fortunate is actually eligible to receive this punishment from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if that person dies as a result of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vaikuntha Lokapaya, he will attain Vaikuntha. So this is the beauty of chastisement. Chastisement opens good fortune. So we know that here our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised Devananda Pandit. But later in the future chapters, we will see later on that the same Devananda Pandit, because he tolerated, because he accepted that chastisement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that chastisement will act as a good fortune for Devananda Pandit, because of which Devananda Pandit will get an association of Vakreshwara Pandit, who will come to Devananda Pandit's home and will tell the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And hearing the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the heart of Devananda Pandit will be changed. And through the association of his devotee, the Lord's devotees as Vakreshwara Pandit, he will gradually develop devotional service and he will completely surrender unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, the Lord will pardon him of all his offense and will bless him with prema bhakti. So that we will see later. But the point is that this chastisement, when it comes, it acts as a door to open up a good fortune. So I'll open up for you all. Maybe you all can share one by one that if you can remember any pastime from any scripture where a devotee or a person is chastised either by a spiritual master or by Krishna himself or by the devotee of Krishna, and finally the good fortune opens up for them. So if anybody wants to raise their hand.
Nalakuver and Manigriv.
Yes, thank you so much. So we'll go one by one because we will see. Thank you, Parima Mataji. Yes, Nalakovera and Manigriva. Because how this Narad Muni, when he cursed, and finally Nalakovera and Manigriva, they accepted the curse. With folded hands, they accepted. And finally, we know that how they got Prema Bhakti also, and they got their Surupa Siddha, their Siddha Bhakti, their Siddha Deha as Madhukanta and Snigdha Kanta, where they were singing the glories of Krishna. Very nice. Anybody else?
Gajendra.
Yes.
Mataji, Arjuna,
Gajendra.
chastised by Krishna.
One by one. Okay, Anita Mataji said, what you said? Indra.
Arjuna was
Mataji, I
chastised.
said Gajendra.
Okay, okay. So, yes, Anita Mataji said Arjuna. Yes, how? Arjun was also chastised by Krishna, where he says that, oh, Arjun, how come this durbalyam, this weakness of mind has come to you? And because he was chastised, the highest transcendental knowledge in the form of Bhagavad Gita was revealed to Arjun. Yes, Gajendra. Yes, Gajendra also. Yeah, you can say not Gajendra as such, but Indradumna. So Indradumna, the king Indradumna, he was actually cursed by Agastya Muni. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in his lecture, he very beautifully mentions that if Indradumna Maharaj, he would have continued his process the way he was doing because he was an yogi, it would have taken many lifetimes for him to go home back to Godhead. But as soon as he was cursed by Agastya Muni to become a dull-headed elephant, in one lifetime only, he winded up this entire business and he was liberated. How Krishna, in the form of Hari himself, came and liberated Gajendra. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Vinita Mataji. Yes,
Maharaj Chitraketu.
yes, Maharaj Chitraketu. Who said?
Me, I think, Mataji.
Oh, sorry, no, Mataji. Yes, Maharaj Chitraketu, who was cursed by Mother Parvati. So again, the same thing applies to Maharaj Chitraketu also, that how Maharaj Chitraketu was happy going to his Sankarshan Loka. But as soon as he was cursed to become Vritrasura, immediately, in one lifetime only, he was delivered and he was liberated and got Prema Bhakti, because that's the beautiful prayers of Vritrasura. Thank you. Yes, Preeti Vilasni Mataji.
Shivananda Sen by Nityananda Prabhu.
Shivananda Sen, how he was kicked by Nityananda Prabhu. But that kick was actually the blessing of Prema Bhakti. So there are so many examples we see about how Krishna.
Raghunath Dasa Goswami Mataji by
Raghunath,
Nityananda Prabhuji.
yes, Raghunath Das Goswami, who was there, he was chastised and he was told to as a thief. He was addressed as thief by Nityananda Prabhu. And finally, Nityananda Prabhu called him near to him and placed his lotus feet on Raghunath Das Goswami. Very nice. Yes, Prahladanand.
Mataji, Danvat Madam Mataji. Also, the Gandharva Upabarhan.
Yeah, very nice. Who became a child of a servant and finally became Narad Muni.
Narad Muni. Haribol
Very
Mata.
nice. Very nice. Wow, you all have so many examples. I didn't even think of those examples.
Vasudev Mataji.
Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva by Narada Muni.
Huh?
Of course, it was not direct chastisement or getting to liberation, but that resulted in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, so
Because Narada chastises Srila Vyasadeva,
yes,
right?
Narada
So,
chastising Vyasadev, that brought the immersion of Srimad Bhagavatam.
yeah.
Yes. Indra chastised by Krishna, how Indra was humbled and surrendered to Krishna and finally received his mercy. Krishna chastising Kaliya. Yes, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji.
Mataji, who is that Kala Krishna Das Chaitanya Mahaprabhu puts him away. I don't know if I'm saying the right name. Nityananda gives him mercy.
Yes, Kala Krishna Das was chastised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu said, I am not going to take this Kala Krishna Das ever along with me. And Nityananda Prabhu was the one who forced Kala Krishna Das to accompany Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his South India Yatra. And finally, Mahaprabhu told Nityananda, you hold on to this Kala Krishna Das, I'm done with him. So, but Nityananda Prabhu showed his mercy and he was engaged as a messenger. Very nice.
Pratap Rudra chastised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes. So we have so many examples.
Narsimhadev chastising Brahma not to give boons like this.
Yeah. That always Krishna does to all the demigods, that you give boons and then I have to take care. And even
also Brahma Vimolan Leela, when Brahma thought that all the...
Yeah, but Krishna didn't chastise much to Brahma, because Brahma finally, when realized, then Krishna said, okay, whatever. When Brahma was offering prayers, Krishna said, okay, whatever.
Yes.
Paid attention.
Yes.
So all these examples we saw, that even Gopal Chapala, Krishna chastising Kaliya. So and Mahaprabhu himself chastising
Mataji, can we take the example of chastising Jagai Madai also?
Jagai and
Jagai.
Madai are not chastised actually.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe. But yeah, so basically the point is that all these examples, what does it illustrate? It illustrates that chastisement or punishment, whether it comes as as a punishment or it comes as a curse or it comes as a rebuke, but in any or a temporary rejection, like Krishna did to Indra, that I completely reject you, or it comes in any form, but actually this is mercy. This is a form of mercy which leads to purification of oneself. And finally, the spiritual elevation happens and ultimately opens up the good fortune. So, this is what even in the words, I'll share again. Thank you so much for all your inputs. So, this is what here is saying, that only a most fortunate person receives punishment from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when chastisement comes, we should understand it is coming in the form of mercy, which is leading to purification and our spiritual progress and ultimately opens up the good fortune. Brahmande Brahmite Kauna Bhagyavan Jiva. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Jeev. Because when this good fortune arises, as a beautiful book written by His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj, actually, what happens when the good fortune arises? Krishna makes this arrangement that we come in the contact of Mahabhagavad devotee, and then our spiritual life progresses. So it is very important. Even Krishna himself says, Yasyaham anugrahami harishyatad dhanam shanai. That when I give anugraha, I take everything and I just give myself. So just an analogy that even Prabhupada says, that an affectionate father, he takes up the responsibility of a child. The child who wants to play all day long, that father takes up the responsibility to restrict that child and make him forcefully go to the school. So for the child, going to the school is not a pleasure thing, and the child doesn't want to go. But a father, he gives his genuine expression of love by forcing that child to go to the school. So that chastisement or that force that is coming from the child is actually his genuine love towards the child. So we saw that how even Mahaprabhu's great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Pandavas, Yudhishthir Maharaj, all these actually they went under great tribulations. But ultimately, Krishna wants to bring their good fortune and their glorification in front of the entire world. But now here, our Devananda Pandit is also chastised. But that becomes the source of his future good fortune to be awakened. But now the question comes that just by chastisement it happens? No. We should know how to take that chastisement. Chaitanyera danda ye mastaka kari laya, sei danda tare prema bhakti joga haya. That how you have to take that chastisement. Mastaka kari, usko mastak se lagao, with folded hands, accept it, faithfully accept the punishment or the chastisement that is coming from our Guru Vargas. Say dandatare, only then prema bhakti yogahaya. Only then we will become eligible candidates for that prema bhakti to be awakened in our heart. So it has to be very nicely accepted, tolerated. Those who do not respect Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's offering of punishment cannot understand the actual characteristics of devotional service. Those who accept Lord's punishment as the source of their own auspiciousness certainly receive the opportunity to attain prema bhakti. So this is what he is saying, that those who accept the Lord punishment as the source of their own auspiciousness, they will certainly receive the opportunity to attain prema bhakti. So we have to accept the punishment. We have to accept wholeheartedly. How we should have to accept? We have to accept with humility. We have to accept with grateful heart. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj would say that only a grateful heart becomes the recipient of Krishna's mercy. So with broad-mindedness, with open heart, with grateful heart, we have to accept. We have to accept with some introspection that it is for my improvement. I am the one who has to learn from this. When some provocations or some turbulations or some sufferings come on us, we have to see that Krishna is going to teach me some lesson out of it. This is how we have to take it. We have to understand, we have to take it with faith that actually this chastisement, this suffering, these problems have come to me. It is not that Krishna is rejecting me, but it's that Krishna is refining me. Krishna wants to teach me something. Krishna is making me a better devotee. Krishna is making me closer to come to him. And we have to accept with patience. Like Brahma says, Tattanukampam susikshamanu bhunjena evatma kritam vipakam hrid vag vapu bhir. With our heart, with our vak shakti, with our words, with our body, we have to accept it. Very patiently we have to accept it. Only then we will be daya bhag. We will become the rightful claim. Claim of what? Claim of Krishna's anukampa. Claim of Krishna's mercy, his compassion. So good fortune, we have to take it, this chastisement, as a good fortune, not as a punishment. So just as we know that we cannot approach sun without becoming fire. If we want to go to a sun planet, we have to have that fire tendency in us. You have to become fire to accept it. We have to become pure similarly if we have to approach Krishna. And this purificatory process actually happens when we undergo sufferings, because this suffering becomes a treatment for us, which is not administered by our karma. Yes, we have to understand that bhunjana evatma karma vibhakam, that I'm experiencing this suffering because of my own karmic reactions. But ultimately, we have to understand that in the life of the pure devotees, it is not karma. It is actually the sufferings are being administered by the Lord himself. So in this way, when we accept that chastisement, that chastisement, when we accept it with patience, with humility, with refinement, with faith, with surrenderance, considering that it's a door for me, for the good fortune to be opened, then only we will become the rightful candidate to attain this prema bhakti. चैतन्य दंडा जारा चित्ते नह भाया जन्मे जन्मे से पापिष्ठा jama danda haya. Then he's saying, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, a sinful person who does not fear Lord Chaitanya's punishment is fit for Yamaraj's punishment life after life. Because Yamaraj himself says, Jivana Vakti Bhagavat Gudanamidhyam. Any Jiva who has not chanted the name of Hari, who has not remembered the lotus feet of Krishna, who has not even called out or bowed his head down to in front of Krishna's deity, well, that person is the eligible candidate. And he told all his dutas, all his yamadutas, that bring that person to me, because that person is the truly eligible person, because he has not performed his duties towards Lord Vishnu. So he is the one who is the rightful candidate. So from here onwards, bring them. So here also he's saying that those who do not accept the chastisement of Krishna or the spiritual master, they are punished by Yamaraj birth after birth. Because Yamaraj takes the whole soul in charge of those persons. So officially we were supposed to stop this at verse 80, But future verses, they are very simple and there is nothing much to explain. So I thought I'll take 5-10 minutes more and I'll finish off this chapter. भागवत तुलसी गंगाया भक्त जाने चतुर्थ vigraha Krishna e charashane. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Krishna appears in this world in 4 forms. So as we previously mentioned that how this Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. So he appears, Krishna himself appears in 4 forms, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, in the form of Tulasi, in the form of Ganga Devi, and in the form of devotees. So when Krishna comes in the form of devotees, how we have to understand that these 4 prominent things are these 4 prominent personalities, the Vaishnavas, the Ganga, the Tulsi Devi, and Srimad Bhagavatam, they are representatives of Krishna. Because Vaishnavas, they are pure devotees and they carry the mercy of Krishna, and through them only they guide others on the path of bhakti. So this is how the Vaishnavas are non-different from Krishna, because they are carrying the mercy of Krishna and they are guiding others on the path of bhakti. Therefore, it is said that association with the pure devotees, the Uttamadhikari devotees, is actually one of the most powerful ways to attain Krishna's mercy. Guru ke bina Krishna nahi, Krishna ke bina Guru nahi. Next comes Ganga. He says Ganga. The Ganga, how come Ganga is non-different? Because Ganga, how does she originate? She originates from the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. And therefore she is considered as the liquid form of mercy, in the form of a liquid. And bathing, and even not even bathing, just remembering Ganga purifies one's heart. So therefore she is also the representative of Krishna in this world. Then Tulasi Devi, we know that how Tulasi is very sacred and very dear to Krishna. She is considered to be the direct expansion of Vrinda Devi, who is in charge of orchestrating the entire pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So worshipping Tulsi, offering Tulsi water and offering the leaves of Krishna, or leaves to Krishna, when we offer bhoga or unto Krishna's lotus feet, all this brings immense good fortune, immense spiritual benefit. So therefore, this is also, Tulsi is also regarded as the representative of Krishna. And finally, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the sound incarnation of Krishna. It is non-different from him because this Srimad Bhagavatam reveals his form, his pastimes, his teachings, his essence of devotion. And hearing and studying this scripture actually gives purification to the heart, brings purification to the heart, and also gives the divine spiritual realizations. So all these are important. So Shri Krishna manifests his own forms in these 4 representations. Now someone can say, okay, you said about Srimad Bhagavatam, Tulsi, Ganga, devotees. What about the Archa Vigraha? Why not Archa Vigraha is regarded as the representative of Krishna in this world? Then Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Jivan aisa karila Shri Murti Puja Haya Janma Matra E Chari Ishvara Veda Kaya. That the Vedas are saying, it is stated in the Vedas that only these 4 are the 4 representations of the Supreme Lord. Why not deity? Because the deity is made up of matter. The deity becomes the representative of Krishna because through deity, Krishna accepts our offerings. Right? So how it is possible? It is possible when some invoking life mantras are pronounced in front of the deities. By invoking life in the deities, वो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करनी पड़ती है. Only then the devotee, the deity which is made up of matter becomes spiritual and becomes the representative of Krishna. So you have to carry out certain process. Otherwise, you go to some market, especially if you go to Vrindavan in Loi Bazaar, you'll find thousands of Laddu Gopals, thousands of the Vigrahas of Radha and Krishna. But at that time, they are just matter. They are made up of matter and they are considered to be the matter. But once the life has invoked in the deity through the proper purificatory process, Pancharatrika and Bhagavat Vidhi, only then the deity becomes the representative of Krishna, through which he accepts all our offerings and he reciprocates with us. So then the deity becomes non-different from Krishna. So there has to be some process to be carried out. But Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur says that although Srimad Bhagavatam, Tulsi, Ganga and Vaishnava, they are seen as enjoyable objects in this material world, they are non-different from the Supreme Lord. And they are worshipable object even without invoking life in them. They don't have to carry out any purificatory process. They themselves are the representatives of Krishna. That is the verdict of Vedic scriptures. Vedakaya. चैतन्य कथारा आदि अंत नहीं जानी यही मते चैतन्य यश सेवा खानी. So now Vrindavan Thakur is winding up this chapter and he's saying, well, I do not know the beginning or end of the topics concerning Sri Chaitanya. It's a vast ocean. Apar sagar hai ye. Yet somehow or other I am able to describe just few of his glories. चैतन्यरा दासेरा पाया मोरा नमस्कारा इथे अपराधा किछु नाहु का आमारा. I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his servants so that they may not consider my offenses. मध्या खंडा कथा ये ना अमृत तेरा खंडा ये कथा नीले गुचे अंतरा पाषंडा. This Madhya Khanda, the topics of Madhya Khanda, they are like Amrita Khanda, they are like the pots of nectar. And Je Katha Shunile, by hearing these topics, even the Pashandis, even the atheism, their hearts also get melted. They also, atheism in the heart also gets vanquished. चैतन्यरा प्रिय देहा नित्यानंद राय प्रभु भृत्य संगे जेना न छाड़े आमाय. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and may the Lord and his servants never forsake me. Na chhade amai, they may never leave me. And the final verse of this chapter, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasatachu Pade Yoga Gana. Accepting Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories at their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda, chapter 21, entitled The Lord's Chastisement of Devananda. So thank you all so much. Sorry I took 12 minutes extra, but I want to finish this chapter because last few verses doesn't require any explanation. So thank you once again. Thank you for your association. So Vanchakalpataruvishta Kripa Sindhuvaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai. All the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai. So let's see if we have quick corrections, any additions, any reflections.
Oh, Mataji. What a wonderful class, Mataji. In between, we had nice interactive session also. So thank you so much, Mataji. The pastime is really so relation. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, do you have any questions or realizations? Yes, Parama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Again, this class was like a treat. So it was so wonderful. And I just have one request, Mataji. Never apologize whenever you take extra time. You can take as much time extra you want because we love listening to you. And we just don't want the class to get over. So please never apologize. It was wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much for your wonderful service. It was really very nice to hear from you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to you.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranam. Mataji, who is this Dayanand Pandit in the Krishna Lila, Mataji?
Good question. Who is Devananda Pandit in Krishna Lila? I remembered he was 1 minute. I can search for it. Or maybe if anybody else knows, then they can. Okay, in the meantime, if anybody else has any question. He is Bhaguri Muni. That's what it has been mentioned. That in Krishna Leela, he serves as Bhaguri Muni.
Who's that?
No idea. That's what I just searched in this, what do you say? Gorgonash Desh Deepika.
In one of the sessions, I heard Bhaguri Muni was the priest of Nanda Baba, Nanda Maharaj.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
I just heard Garga was the house priest of Vasudeva, and Bhaguri was the house priest of Nanda Baba.
Yes,
That's what I heard, Mataji.
Yes, I remember now.
Hare
Thank you, Vasundhara Mataji. So he was the Kul Guru of Nanda Maharaj. Though Garga Muni came to give the name-giving ceremony to Krishna and Balaram, but this Bhaguri Muni is actually the Kul Guru of Nanda Maharaj. Yeah, thank you. Swati Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kirtida Mataji. Very interesting class. I was thinking about how you mentioned about all the confluence of the rivers and how everything is present in Vrindavan Dham. And then also in the beginning about Devananda Pandit's situation and about chastisement of spiritual master, and finally how Devananda Pandit also is changed because first he repents, and that has attracted the mercy of other Vaishnavas, and he has heard the glories of Mahaprabhu, and then he has changed. I was thinking about how that repentance can really attract the mercy of the Lord again. It's so beautiful, the process. And finally, when you read the last few verses about Tulsi, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Tulsi, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatas, is it?
Yeah, Bhagavatas and Ganga Devi.
Ganga, yeah. So I wanted to tell about Ganga. So though we would read the pastime of Kolavicha Sridhar, I would think, yeah, that's nice. He's using his money to worship Ganga. But why so focused on Ganga? I used to have that doubt in my mind, but somehow I never probed into it. But I think today the answer I got it cleared. Yeah. Thank you. And we can quote this verse to get it for my own education, because I had this doubt in the heart, but I didn't know how to. Not that I expressed the doubt, but it was there somewhere lingering in my heart. Yeah. Thank you.
Is considered to be the liquid form of mercy of Krishna. Yeah.
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, dear devotees, if nothing is there, then we can end. Yes, Anita Mataji, you can take over. Anita Mataji, are you there? Okay, no problem. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you for all of your association. So we'll stop here. Let's pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas for all their time, for all their sangha. Vanchakalpatarubhascha
Kripasindhubhescha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Antakoti Vaishnav Vrindavan Das ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All
Grace
Vaishnava.
Kirtida Sundari Mataji.
Har Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji ki
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much,
jai.
Mataji.
All
Thank you
the
so much.
accepted Vaishnavas.